Hello and welcome to my podcast all about body, mind and soul, where we explore all things health and personal development to help you live your best life. Have you ever wondered why some mornings you wake up feeling energized and confident while others leave you drained and irritable? What if the secret for a more fulfilling, productive, and confident life lies in something as simple and as complex as sleep? In today's episode, we are going to explore the mystery of sleep with my amazing guest, Pedi.
Hi.
So with Pedi Matthies, a counselor and coach who specializes in sleep health. Hi, Pedi, and welcome.
Thank you for having me, Diana. And I'm really looking forward to talking with you about the important topic of sleep.
Yes, today we'll have a wonderful conversation about what influences the quality of your sleep, how to cultivate deeper and more restorative rest, and most importantly, how improving your sleep can directly enhance your confidence and your overall well-being. I'm your host, Diana Todorut, confidence coach and hypnotist, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Pedi to share insights, tips, and stories that will help you elevate your sleep, boost your energy, and find more peace in your daily life. So please stay with us until the end. You don't want to miss the strategies we'll be sharing to help you sleep better and feel more confident. And why not live more fully? Pedi, once again, thank you for joining me today. Can you start by telling our listeners a bit about yourself so they can get to know you better?
Okay. I'm what you call in Germany, Heilpraktiker für Psychotherapie. Maybe the translation would be healing practitioner or naturopath for psychotherapy. And I have developed somewhat into a sleep nerd, because I know how important it is to sleep well for life, for everything. If you think about it, that in an average lifespan, we sleep about 24 years. And if you are stressed, those 24 years, it's kind of
quite a lot.
So that's a little bit about me. And sleep is just, I think it's the best medicine that you have. And it's, if you know how to sleep, then a lot of things will regulate themselves.
Why is Pedi with me today? I know Pedi from our coaching training years ago. And we found at the time that we have a deep connection on many levels, thinking and practicing, because after coaching, she went into further professional training, psychotherapy, and we used to collaborate for our projects.
Call or write, I'm always there. Yes. Diana's saying, let's do something. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Why sleep? Why did you choose to focus on sleep and to specialize in sleep health?
Well, I see that nearly all of my clients are struggling with sleep. Yeah, there's different types of sleep problems that they have. And there's a lot of factors that influence the sleep. And again, there's a lot of factors that get influenced by sleep, which is, of course, feeling tired, not being able to concentrate. If you don't sleep right, you're in a bad mood. It just kind of perpetuates. And then you get more and more stressed about sleep. And, oh, I didn't sleep right. And, oh, no, I have to sleep again. And you're stressing yourself about not having enough sleep. And so that kind of turns into a vicious circle. And so I said, okay, studying sleep and knowing how to work on sleep is like a core thing for healing.
Yes, regarding that, the sleep is 1/3 of our life. So we spend a lot of time sleeping. And during this time, many important processes are happening in our bodies. As you said, healing, repairing, recovering the energy, and so on.
Like, for instance, your brain gets kind of cleaned out during sleep. but it needs to have the REM phases and the deep sleep phases in order to be able to do that. That's also a key factor in preventing, for instance, dementia.
These two sleep phases, REM and the deep sleep, are very important to have a restorative sleep. There are cycles during the night when we fall deep asleep, and then we are in this phase of rapid eye movements. And so how long are these intervals, if you remember?
Okay, it depends on the person, of course, and it depends on the age and your overall health. The cycle continues 3 or 4 times during the night. And the longest phases are actually the phases of REM sleep, and then you go into deep sleep, and then you come back up again. The average deep sleep over a night, it's somewhere between 45 minutes and maybe an hour and a half. So it's not really that long, but it's so important that you are able to complete a couple of cycles during the night.
So we can feel the morning afterwards fresh and rested.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So what is it today that makes people to have very low quality sleep?
Well, we are all in a state of stress. Yeah, so we are flooded with cortisol hormones, with adrenaline, noradrenaline. We receive too many messages, too much information. Everything is too fast, too hectic, too dopamine. It's when you're in a state of high stress, it's really hard to come down at night and to be able to prepare the body to enter into the sleep phase in a peaceful mode. Yeah. I mean, everybody talks about, I'm so busy. I have so much to do. I'm so stressed. And that's kind of the hip lifestyle. That's the way to be. That's when you're cool, when you have a lot of stuff to do. And that really works against finding a good night's sleep at night. Yeah.
It's that we need a phase before going to bed where we calm down. So the body can prepare for the sleep phase. Because otherwise, if we stay alert till the last minutes before we go to bed, then it's bad.
Exactly. The worst thing you can do is having your smartphone in bed, and scrolling Instagram or TikTok reels. Yeah, you're on a total dopamine high then, and you're like, and then you're supposed to go to sleep, right? So that's something that is, I don't want to say deadly for sleep, but it's not very easy to go to sleep after a scrolling attack.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it too, of course, but I try to keep the phone out of my bedroom.
This would be a good idea, actually. But I don't think that many would do this, because mobile phone is now something so important in our lives. We cannot conceive that living in another room or somewhere else.
At least if you're going to look at it last thing in the evening, try to put it on flight mode and on quiet mode, so you don't hear any reminders or any messages coming in, that you actually get a break from it. And then grab a book. Yeah, so your eyes can relax a little bit, even if it's for just 5 or 10 minutes right before going to sleep.
Yeah.
But look at something that's not flickering and not in a blue light, and just to be able to tell your brain, okay, now it's time, we can relax. Yeah.
But maybe a boring book, not very thrilling. that will keep awake. The book will keep you awake then.
Yeah, don't stay up reading till 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, I've done that too, but don't do it too often.
So stress is the main factor that affects our sleep. What would be else?
In a typical day, you're in the office or doing your job, and especially now in the winter, you don't get enough sunlight. You're not able to activate the melatonin production. So you do actually need sunlight, even if it's gray and if it's raining, there's still some important light coming in. At least 15, 20 minutes outside would be really, really helpful to aid your body's processes. You want to get in some movement. If you do it too late in the evening and you do like high interval training, like, I don't know, Zumba or whatever, where you're like, and then your body turns into a stress mode, and then it's also difficult to fall asleep. So when you're doing high impact, high cardio workouts late in the evening, I can probably guarantee you will have a hard time falling asleep. So try to get those in the afternoons a little bit so your body has time to calm down. And then make sure that you don't eat chili and stuff like that, or garlic, or what's ingwer in English? Ginger. Yeah, that's stuff that'll push your body really into working mode. You eat something and then you're on the couch, and you watch some Netflix or whatever, and you relax and you fall asleep on the couch. That's like deadly, because you use the melatonin that you need to fall asleep. You've used it up already on the couch. So the thing is to say, okay, I'm falling asleep on the couch. I notice it. Get up and go to bed.
So this requires some discipline.
Yes, afraid so, yes.
To you are coming a lot of people with sleeping problems. What about their confidence level? Did you observe a relationship between how bad they are sleeping and how confident are feeling day over the day?
Well, I mean, how are you going to feel confident when you're like this? Yeah. When you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Then you're just basically
sleep on you.
You're just basically busy trying to function, trying to stay alive, or just trying to get through your day when you're really tired. When you're well rested, of course, you feel healthy, you're in a good mood, your brain gives you in the mornings when it comes out of alpha mode and you're working yourself up, the body is starting all its functions, and you get some nice chemicals in the morning. So you're like, okay, yay, let's go. Yeah. And that, of course, influences your confidence.
What I observed with my clients that are coming for confidence trading, they are not sleeping very well. They have problems with the sleep, among other problems. It seems that they are actually more connected than might seem at the first sight.
Well, self-confidence, as you know, is something that is influenced by a lot of things. It may be your upbringing, or it may be your psychological state at the moment, or the type of mindset you are in. Of course, again, influences your sleep levels. If your mind is racing about something, how am I going to do this project tomorrow, and all these things, then influences your confidence. It's all interrelated. I mean, it's just one thing. Like,
you are less focused, you can be irritated, you can be easily annoyed. You cannot focus very well on your tasks. You underperform, and then the confidence has to suffer too.
It's the vicious circle again, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't mean that the only cause for lack of confidence is bad sleep. Your clients may have problems with confidence, but this is not everything that influences their sleep, of course.
Of course, it makes sense. The thing is, looking at each situation, looking at each client, and first you have to understand, what is their life like? What kind of a life are they living? Are they single parents with 2 children and struggling to get everything in order? Or is it a high potential management person? And so the thing is looking at each detail and then seeing where are they at in their life? What kind of things are they struggling with? How are they equipped to overcome their challenges? What can they do? How can they act? How can they take an active part in changing their life so that they can sleep, so that they can perform and do their stuff?
Let's think about someone is wanting to sleep. And then when you are in a state of relaxation, your mind is not so busy with other exterior things, then it is created more space for inner thoughts, for worries, for plans, for this and that. And sometimes these thoughts are a big impediment in falling asleep.
Oh, yeah. The racing mind, the monkeys in your head having a heyday. Yeah. A lot of people have that problem. They calm down a little bit and then maybe they fall asleep and then they wake up again and then it's like, whoom, yeah, everything is going on in there. And the question then is, how can you stop that? The thing is with those racing thoughts, you're in your head. And what you need to do to sleep is to be in your body. So what you can, when your mind is racing, what you do is you say, stop. Yeah, stop it, mind. Shut up. And my favorite recipe is to stay in bed, don't put on the light, don't look at the clock, don't do anything, but grab your feet and massage your own feet. So you massage your own feet or maybe your calves and through that, and you really get into feeling your feet and the responses of your body. And then you can lie down again and sleep.
I have also a method when I have difficulties with falling asleep. I take just a short walk through the room with no light or so. But getting out of bed and a bit stretching and making some slow movements to detach myself a little bit from what was happening inside the bed. And then I go back and it functions. Maybe not every time, but most of the time it has a good effect on falling asleep afterwards.
Yeah. Like you say, you move around, you move your body a little bit, you get out of that zone. And what's happening there is you pay attention to your body again. And you shift your focus from your head into moving through the room. So that's basically what you're doing is a conscious effort to get out of your head. And the best idea to keep away from the thoughts carousel going on is before you go to bed, writing everything down that is going on in your head. Good old journaling. It really helps. It does. And what you do is you just write down all your stuff. And then, you have it on paper. You write, don't type it into your mobile phone, but use your hand to write it down. It helps your body and helps the connection between the brain and the body. And you write it down and then okay, my brain is now free to rest.
I have a story linked with this method. Once I had a client and she could sleep well, but she was always getting up or waking up 1 hour earlier than she actually must. And she was very angry. Oh, I can sleep 1 more hour, but every morning I just stay in bed hoping that I can sleep this last hour. I asked her what happens during this time. And she told me, oh, I have busy days and I have a lot of plans to accomplish and I have appointments and so, and then I just begin to work with them in my head. My advice for her, okay, please, before going to sleep or in the evening, take a piece of paper and what you are doing in the morning between 5 and 6 in your head, do it on paper in the evening before. And she has done it. And 2 days later, she called me and she said, it was amazing that finally, the last 2 days, she could sleep until 6 o'clock when the alarm was ringing for getting up. It's working because the mind then relaxes. It knows, okay, I have everything put in order. I don't have to worry anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
What else could influence our sleep? Let's talk a bit about coffee or substances that could influence our sleep pattern, quality, and so.
Yeah, coffee has a half-life for the caffeine to be digested by the body or for the caffeine to be done with its
Metabolized.
metabolized. Thank you. It takes about 6 hours. If you have a coffee in the afternoon,
sometimes it would be difficult to fall asleep. I think that especially for the persons that have problems with falling asleep and sleeping, actually.
I have a client, or I had a client, he was like, it's really hard for me to fall asleep. I said, well, first basic stuff. What about coffee? No, I don't drink coffee. I drink iced tea. And iced tea is full of sugar. So you get a nice sugar boost during the whole day. And also there's a little bit of caffeine and tein. I don't know how you say it in English, in the tea. So that basically has the same effect. Or energy drinks. Yeah. People drink, I don't know how they are able to survive. Yeah. But they drink like 3 or 4 energy drinks during the day, and the caffeine in there and the sugar in there is enough to keep you awake for I don't know how long. So don't drink that.
And how do you convince them to not drink them anymore?
Yeah, that's a difficult thing actually, because caffeine and sugar and energy drinks and all that is also an addiction. We are in a vicious cycle. Of course, they don't sleep well. They're tired in the morning. And they're like, okay, I need caffeine, I need iced tea, I need energy drinks. And then that whole cycle repeats again. So it's difficult to get out of that pattern. And if you say, okay, the pain gets too much, of not sleeping, then maybe you can then start reducing caffeine and energy drinks and stuff like that.
Do you know something about sleep paralysis?
Oh, that's a neurological condition. Yeah, and that's something that belongs into the hands of physicians. Or what do you have in mind?
Okay. So, sleep paralysis, it's a state when you are falling asleep or waking up. Your brain actually is already waked up or woke up or didn't fall asleep, but your body is already disconnected. And you are fully aware, but you cannot move anything from your body. You don't have contact with your body.
That's a really stressful situation. Probably, yeah. Do you have experience with this, or is it?
Actually, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Does it happen a lot, or have you had it?
In my younger age, happened a lot.
Okay.
And over the time, it happened less and less. So now there are 10 years or more since the last time. It's a very interesting experience. And on a side can be also mystical because you don't know how to interpret it. You can read it, the scientific explanations, but what you experience in that moment, it's very subjective and it can be frightening because you don't know what is happening. You are awake, but cannot move your body. There are also other sensations like a very powerful pressure in my head, in my ears. And I always felt like a force that want to pull me out of bed or maybe out of my body. I don't know, but it was very strange. And because I didn't understand the process and I didn't know what happens if I allow the process to go further, I was always very stressed and scared. And I tried with all my force to interact or to get out from this state.
I know it's a neurological condition with grown-ups, but there's some children who are susceptible to sleep paralysis. But I don't know, I have to be honest, I don't know that much about it. But I would say it's a neurological event, and that's something that the specialists need to look into, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't feel that it was like an illness or a disease or something like this. It was painful, but also it was a very interesting phenomenon that I was capable to live and could give me some insights. So I don't know, it was plus and minus. When it was not happening too often, then it was okay.
Okay, so you had some mystical experiences then, probably, yeah?
Yes, you can say it like this. And maybe it's in the family because my grandmother told me about her experiences as a young woman, but I didn't understand back then. And my son has told me that sometimes happens to him too. He knows what it's all about and it's more relaxed about it.
I would have to look into it more because I haven't had it with my clients. I mean, I had it in my education. I would say it's pretty rare. It's not something you see every day in your practice.
So now coming back to factors that can influence our sleep, how about the moon influence?
Yeah. Scientific studies, have proven that the moon doesn't have an influence. Yet, everybody I talk to is like, oh man, we had a full moon. I couldn't sleep anymore. And so science is saying one thing and what's really happening is something else. I would say the full moon is maybe like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. People are like, oh, we have the full moon coming up. I can't sleep. I know this. So your mind tricks you into saying, oh, yeah, remember you can't sleep in full moon. And then you're like, yeah, see, I told you I can't sleep when there's full moon. I don't like it.
And your system goes up. So you think about it and you are triggered. And then your heart is beating faster, your adrenaline levels are rising up. And after that, it's very difficult really to fall asleep.
It's the power of mind. So that's how you can influence yourself. For a little trick on regarding the power of mind is when you had a shitty night's sleep, if you can find a way to say, hey, I actually slept pretty good. You make believe that you slept good, then you will feel actually refreshed. So you trick your system because you're saying, hey, we did sleep good. Body and mind, we slept well. Even though you didn't, you feel better.
Or even though you didn't sleep very well, you set your mind in a way that you will say, okay, I didn't sleep very well last night, but now I'm tired and I'll prepare better to going to sleep. I'll definitely fall asleep and sleep better this night.
That's can also be a little bit tricky because when you're like, tonight I'm going to sleep really well and I've done everything and I have had my exercise and I'm going to bed early and I'm doing everything right. And then you can't fall asleep. That's because you're creating so much internal stress that your body's like, I can't sleep. Yeah. So the best thing is to not make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, to do it without attachment. We have discussed about what influences our sleep quality, but what happens when we don't sleep right? We don't have restful sleep. What happens on a long time?
Health problems?
What they can be? What health problems?
A lack of concentration. You might even start to hallucinate, digestive problems. Your body's going to hurt. Yeah, you're going to be very irritable, sad, and in a very bad mood. So it's, if you don't sleep, get help. Yeah, find somebody to help you with your lifestyle. Find somebody to help you solve your mental, your psychological problems, your emotional stuff that's going on. Somebody to help you when you're not sleeping. Seriously.
Of course, because the consequences can be burnout, depression, isn't it? Cardiovascular
Stroke,
disease,
everything,
heart attacks. Yes.
First step is always to see your physician, and then, at least in Germany, he will transfer you to maybe a psychological advisor or to a clinic to check neurological things to check what's causing it, to have a solution for the sleeplessness. Yeah.
In cases that people have a chronic sleep deprivation, then first go to the physician and let it check. For those that are sleeping, but they are not feeling very rested and energized in the morning, or there are nights when they can't fall asleep, but very difficult, what they can do?
For the first case, if you are sleeping and you still don't feel rested, maybe increase your sleep time. I don't know if you heard of the 4 a.m. club or the very successful hipster influencers. You wake up at 4 a.m, you go in the gym, you do this, you do that, you meditate, you self-optimize, whatever. And
Yes.
I don't know what time you have to go to bed to be able to wake up at 4 a.m. But I mean, the average is for men somewhere between 6 and 8 hours, what they need. And for women, it can be as much as 9 hours of sleep. So I think it's a question of prioritizing sleep, where you say, okay, I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning. I want 8.5 hours of sleep. So I'm turning the light out at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then people will be like, at 10, I can't go to sleep at 10. Yeah. But maybe it's because you just need more time. Yeah.
So besides sleeping more, having a healthy diet, exercising during the day, avoiding caffeine-rich drinks, alcohol in the night, or even nicotine, what else could help us from the nature? What can help us have a better sleep, more refreshing sleep?
Natural remedies. I have a questionnaire here. Yeah, it's 7 pages long for your self-analysis, where you can find out what is influencing your sleep. It might be your bedroom is a mess. Your laundry is in there. You just throw your shit everywhere. And that influences your state of mind when you go to sleep. Or, I don't know, your bedroom isn't dark enough. That's something that happens a lot, yeah, because most people live in the cities, and the cities, there's the lights on and everything, and you need darkness for your melatonin system to start working. That is a factor, yeah. Or I don't know, your covers are too cold or too warm, or the temperature in your bedroom is too warm or too cold. Yeah. So you need to be in a span between 18 degrees is ideal. Yeah. For most people. And then when you start to work on all the different factors and you need some support to going to sleep, I can recommend, for example, ashwagandha, the Indian sleep berry. You take a teaspoonful of that, put it in the plant yogurt, so you have some proteins with it. Maybe put a little bit of a banana into it and put some peanuts, mousse, and you mix all that together. And then it's on the couch when you're like, oh, I wish I could have some chocolate now. Yeah. You eat that, which helps your sleep. So there's some easy things you can do to help you fall asleep. Yeah.
So keep order in your sleeping room, pay attention to have enough dark room, to be quiet and pleasant temperature for during the sleep. What do you recommend your clients beside that?
Okay, the magnesium, of course, relaxes your muscles, which is a good prerequisite for falling asleep nicely. It's always a good idea to take magnesium in the evening. Then you need some protein, so your cells can go into the repair mode and have everything they need. Vitamin B, vitamin D, iron, all these vitamins are needed by your cells to do their work so they can function properly. And there's some things like melatonin that helps you sleep, but be careful because sooner or later your body will say, oh, I'm getting that. I don't need to, I don't need to produce it anymore, because your body and your brain is very lazy. So be careful with that. If you're in a stressful period of your life and there's so much things going on where you can't sleep, it might be a good idea to get some prescription sleeping pills from your doctor, which you take maybe for, I don't know, maybe a week or so to get out of that I can't sleep mode. But it's always dangerous if you do something for a long, long time. Keep on taking sleeping pills that will mess up your neurological setup. Keep on taking melatonin.
Exactly.
That will mess up your setup. I have melatonin tea at home. And when I know, okay, I'm stressed, I don't know, an evening seminar where I'm like in there until 9 or 10 o'clock and working on psychological problems, I know my head is hot. And then when I go to sleep, I take the melatonin like once, I don't know, every half a year or so. And then I'm like, okay, then it helps me fall asleep.
So when the problems are not so deep, it's better to turn us to nature and use what nature can offer us in the first place. Like you said, ashwagandha or lavender, valerian, passion flower. They are good plants that help us to calm down and to relax a bit. Then what can we do? We can meditate. We can practice some mindfulness in the evening to calm down.
Yeah, just to do something that you like. Take a hot bath or, I don't know.
Not too hot.
Yeah, not too hot, but do something that you want to do. I don't know, knit or crochet. Yeah, my sister is now doing crochet. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, it's crochet. And I said, here, let me try it. It's totally relaxing.
There are some other methods from the naturopathy. For example, acupuncture could help. I don't have personal experience, but it's a method used for such problems.
Yeah.
And hypnotherapy.
Acupuncture corrects your system. It corrects your chi so it can all flow again. I believe in that. And I think the main question is how to get back into health. And whatever you need to figure out what it is and then bring yourself back into health.
And as we saw, if we have the power to bring us into illness, we should have the power to bring ourselves into health.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you think that there is something important to add to our discussion?
Well, what I've summed up for me about sleep is that it's either a reward or punishment for your day. Yeah.
For what you are doing in that day. So if you are doing well,
then you're like, I can sleep. Yeah. And when you're too stressed and you have a hard time and everything, it can be a punishment. Yeah. When you're lying there and you're like, I need to sleep. Yeah. So yes, it's a question of discipline. It's a question of getting help that you need in whatever form, depending on your situation. Yeah, a question of saying, okay, I want to change that. And then going forward and doing what you need to do to change it.
Yeah. So we are approaching the end of our time. What is the last thing you would like to share with our listeners?
Maybe you can see sleep as like an excursion. Look at what you're dreaming. Look how you're lying in bed and feeling all safe and nice and warm and cozy, and make it an experience, like a field to discover the sleep, because it gives importance to it, and it gives importance to the 24 more or less years of our life that we sleep.
You've put it down very, very nice. So let's make a good experience, a positive experience from our sleep.
Yes, that would be nice. Yeah.
So if you have one question to address our listeners, what would this question be?
Oh, you mean like a self-coaching question?
Whatever is coming into your mind, what could be helpful for the listeners to think about or to do about their sleep?
Okay. If you believe you can't sleep, what are you trying to avoid?
Okay, it's quite deep. If you believe you can't sleep, what are you trying to avoid? Okay, I think that it's a good question to think myself about when I can't fall asleep. My question to our listeners, how does your current sleep routine affect your confidence and overall well-being? What changes could you make to feel more energized and empowered? So, Pedi with me and me, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So please feel free to share your answers with us in the comments below. Yes.
That's what they do, isn't it?
Yes, in the comments below. Okay, so I think that we can keep talking about sleep and going here and there. But unfortunately, our time is yet now gone. But maybe we will find another opportunity to meet and to find interesting topics to bring out to the public.
I'm with you. Just tell me, let's do this, and we'll do it. And I'm going to look more into sleep paralysis. So maybe that's also a nice subject.
Yes.
For the future.
It's odd. And as you said, not so very spread. Yeah. So maybe it's not a big problem. However, it's an interesting one. Okay, that's a wrap. For today's episode, all about body, mind, and soul. And I hope you gained some valuable insight about sleep quality, confidence, and ways to improve both of them. So, what's the secret to feeling more energized, focused, and confident? It all starts with the quality of your sleep. Remember, a well-rested mind and body are essential for showing up as the best version of yourself. Before you go to sleep, here are a couple of tips to take with you. Can you mention some of them? I give it to you.
More tips?
The most important ones.
The most important one is three. Get yourself a good mattress, make your bedroom nice, and be a little bit disciplined about what you do in the evening.
Create a bedtime routine that supports your body's natural rhythm. A small change can have dramatically effects in your sleep quality and, why not, confidence. Well, Pedi, thank you so much for this amazing conversation. I'm very pleased that you was here with me, and I wish you good luck with your practice and with what you do, helping people to have a better sleep.
Thank you, Diana, for having me on your show. I'm really honored, and I'm really looking forward to doing more things with you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you found this episode helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from this insight. Did this episode inspire you to make the first step toward a better sleep and enhance self-confidence? Write yes or no in the comments below. For those of you interested in working together with us or learning more, you can find our contact details in the video description also below. Don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help you on your journey. And don't forget to tune in next time for more powerful tips on body, mind, and soul. Until then, take care of yourself and remember, a great night's sleep is the first step to unlocking the confident, empowered you. See you soon.